All right, so now we're gonna go over how to find a side length given certain information. So the very first thing I would do is taking a look at this. If I did not have SOHCAHTOA set up, I would write it down, right? I would always write SOHCAHTOA very first thing. My next thing I would do is label all of my sides. So the very first thing is I'm gonna do my hypotenuse, right? Directly across from the 90-degree angle, and the longest side is my hypotenuse. The second one I would do is find the opposite. So I have my angle here, and I go directly across from it, and I label this one as my opposite, right? It's the opposite from the angle. And then I would label my last one as my adjacent, and it is adjacent right beside the angle. My next steps is I would write what I'm given, right? I would write, okay, so over here I have my hypotenuse is 18 meters, right? I know that information. I know that my adjacent is my x, right? Because it wants us to find x, so we need to have that in there. And then my angle, so my theta is this 40 degrees. Okay, so then what I need to figure out is which trig ratio am I going to use. So in here, which one has my hypotenuse and my adjacent? Because that's what I'm going to need to find my adjacent. And then I'm going to plug in my information. So which one has hypotenuse and adjacent? I would circle CA because it has adjacent and hypotenuse. So then I am going to plug my information into the equation. So I'm going to write that, right? I would write cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And then I would plug the information that I have up here into my equation. So I have cosine, and my theta is 40, equals adjacent is x, and my hypotenuse is 18. So now I need to solve for x. So what we need to do is we need to get x by itself, and to do that we need to get rid of this 18. So what we have to do is we have to do the opposite of what is being done here. So right now we're dividing by 18. So we have to times by 18 to get rid of it on this side and this side. Okay, so if we times it by 18, this becomes nothing. But whatever we do to this side, we also have to do to this side. I don't know why I put it way over there. Okay, so now I would rewrite this as 18 times, and I like to put things in brackets, cosine 40 degrees equals x. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to put in bracket 18 bracket times bracket, I would push my cosine button and I have 40, and then put another bracket. Okay, so I put it in exactly how I've written it. The brackets help keep everything organized in the calculator. And then all I have to do is press equals. And it wants me to round to 1 decimal spot. So right now my answer is 13.7887. Continuous, continuous, continuous. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna round to a single decimal spot. Okay, so I would look over and I would say, okay, there's an 8 beside it, so I'm gonna round this 7 up. So my number would be x is equal to 13.8. And I would put meters afterwards. And then I would box it. So now we're gonna do another one. The exact same steps. So very first thing, write my SOHCAHTOA. Okay, it's already written for me, so I'm not gonna do it. And then I'm gonna go do the sides. So my hypotenuse, longest side directly across from the 90-degree angle. My opposite side, or directly across from our given angle. And my adjacent side, which is either my leftover or the one that's right beside our angle, okay? And then what I'm going to do is figure out what information I have. So I'm going to write my opposite is equal to 15 meters. My adjacent is equal to that x that I need to find. And my theta is equal to 40 degrees. And then I need to figure out which one I'm going to use. So which one has an opposite and an adjacent in it? If I take a look over here, this one has an opposite and adjacent in it. I'm going to circle it, and that's going to be the one I'm going to use. So then I'm going to write my tan theta is equal to my opposite over my adjacent. And then I'm going to plug this information into my equation. So I have my tan 40 degrees is equal to my 15 over my x. So what we want to do is we want to get x by itself. But the issue is when it is at the bottom of the fraction, we can't really get it by itself right now. So what we have to do is when it's on the bottom, right, it's being divided, so we now have to times both sides by x. So I'm going to multiply by x on this side, right, because then it will get rid of it on that side, and then I'm going to multiply it by x on this side. And then what that does is it crosses it out on this side and brings my x over here. And then I would rewrite this as x times tan 40 degrees is equal to 15. Now getting x by itself, is going to be a little bit easier. Okay, so what we're going to do is, because when we take a look, it's x times tan, tan is being multiplied here, right? And the opposite of multiplication is division, right? So we're going to divide both sides by tan. That gets rid of it on that side. And then we're going to divide this one by tan 40 degrees. And then I'm going to rewrite my equation. So I now have x is going to be equal to 15 over tan 40. And then when I do my calculation, again, I'm going to put things in brackets. So I'm going to write, I don't know if you guys can see that, so 15, and then I'm going to divide by, and I'm going to put my tan 40 in a bracket. Okay, it just keeps things nice, neat, and tidy. And then I'm going to click enter, and my x is equal to 17.876 continuous. And it wants us to one decimal spot, so I'm going to take a look at this number. Take a look to the right of it, it's a 7, so I'm going to round that up because it's above 5. So my x is equal to 17.9. And then I need to take a look, and it's meters, and then I'm going to box it. We're going to do one more practice question, and we're going to do the exact same steps. Right, so katoa, go label my sides. This one is opposite, and this one is adjacent. And then I'm going to write the information I have down. So I'm going to have my h is equal to 14 meters. My o is my x. And then my theta is equal to 30 degrees. So which one would I use that has my hypotenuse and my opposite? I'm going to circle it. And then I'm going to do my equation. So sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. And then sine 30 is equal to my x over my 14. And remember, we now need to get x alone, so what are we going to do? 14 is being divided here, so I'm going to times both sides by 14. Because on this side it crosses it out, and then I have x by itself. So then I have 14 times sine 30 is equal to x. So then when I put that in my calculator, I'm going to put it into brackets. So I'm going to do my bracket 14, bracket, and then my other bracket, I can click the times button, or I don't have to, sine 30 and bracket. And then I'm going to click that, and my side is 7. So I'm going to rewrite this as x is equal to 7, and it's meters. Okay,